This is Lindsay Says, because somebody has to say it. I never thought I would say that. Welcome back, besties. It has been insane. You can tell by my face. I don't feel like I look like myself. I am exhausted. We've been traveling like crazy. So I went on a girls' trip. That's why we had a week off of Lindsay Says pod, because I was in the Dominican. And sometimes when I go on a trip, I have horrible Wi-Fi, which of course I'm on a trip again. We're trying out a new application to see, because last time other trips, it's just like messed up. And it's like, what's the point of taking time off of my trip when it's not even like a good episode because it's so messed up. So we're trying a new application to the Dominican Republic with my friends. It was absolutely beautiful. It was for our friend's bachelorette party. And we went to the Dominican in a little villa, and we had, it sounds insane, but we had a butler, a chef, a laundry person, and a person that did your room. And it was literally below deck. That's the only way that I can describe it. But it was extremely affordable. I'm sure there's people that are listening that are like, yeah, I had the same exact experience. It is it's not cheap, but it is more affordable than you would expect. If you were to go on a spring break trip and spend a normal amount of money, it's the same amount of money. If you were to split it amongst a group of friends, it's not insane. But we had an amazing, amazing time. Came back home for 5 days. And now I'm on a trip with one of the same girls, one of our besties, because my husband's besties with the husband were bestie couples. So we're exploring Charleston together. My friend's sister lives here, and I went to BravoCon with both of them the first time. And when I was at BravoCon the first time with them, my friend's sister was like, I feel like you're supposed to do something with Bravo. You're supposed to do something with this. And now I'm seeing her again, and now I have this going, which is crazy. So we've been just exploring, and I can't remember if I told you guys or not, but when a month or so ago, I messaged Patricia because she has followed me for a while, Patricia from Southern Charm. And I told her that I was coming, and she was like, okay, give me a phone call 3 days before you come. And so I had it on my calendar, the day after we got back from the Dominican. And so I called her, and she was in the middle of filming, and it must have been a producer or a butler or somebody that answered the phone for her. And, she was I was like, hi, it's Lindsay, the Bravoholic from TikTok, Instagram, everything. And she was like, okay, 1 second. And I thought it was Patricia at first, and it wasn't. And then it was very clearly Patricia on the phone. And she was like, hi. And I was like, I'm coming to town. And she's like, oh, we're filming. And she's like, production is just not that well organized. She's like, I just don't know what the plan is. And she was like, yeah, I'm filming with, this was a Monday. And she's like, yeah, I'm filming with Sally on Sunday, and I have a dinner, and I'm filming right now. And I was like, oh no, I'm bothering her. So, and I was thinking on the phone call, I'm not going to get to see her, but this phone call is good enough. And the phone call was 2 minutes and 40 seconds, but it's literally all that I needed. But she was like, text me so your phone call, or you don't get lost in the mix of everything. So I texted her, and I was like, thank you so much for your phone call. Would love to see you. If I don't get to see you, that's totally okay. So I'm just that was good. I'm not going to see her. We'll see what happens in Charleston. So we get here, and we're out to dinner on the first night, and I get a text from Patricia, and she was telling me where they were doing filming that night. She was like, the guys are doing a bar hop. So, here's where they're going, and told me 2 different bars. So I bring my friends to, the Silver Dollar, and we finish dinner. We go straight there, and they were in the middle of filming, and the bar was dead. Cause this is a Thursday, pretty much empty bar, but there were some girls there. You could tell that they were there because they were clearly filming. And it was so interesting being in the background of the filming. So they were playing pool, and I was like, oh my God, Craig is in here, and Craig has me blocked. And I've talked to Austin in a DM before. Whitner follows me, Rodrigo follows me, and I just was I have no idea what's going to happen. And I got nervous for a second because I thought that Craig hated me. So we get in there, and the camera crew's in there. It's very relaxed because it's they're obviously all mic'd, but it's they're at a bar. It was so bizarre. so I like went past them to go to the bathroom because I really had to go to the bathroom. And then on the way back, I just like went up to say hi to them because I'm like, they were looking at me a little bit and I'm like, I'm just going to say who I am, whether they remember or not. And Whitner was nice. Rodrigo was a little bit more awkward in person than I would have expected, but he was very nice. He just didn't have a whole lot to say. And then I went up to Shep and I was like, oh, hi. I met you at BravoCon. And he was like, oh, yeah, you were like the only person there. I totally remember you. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I'm a Bravo creator or whatever. Like, that's cool. Like, nice to see you. But I've never like talked to him outside of that. And then went up to Austin and I was like, hi, I'm Lindsay the Bravoholic. And he was like, awesome. And like, good to see you, whatever. And I just was like, yeah, we've messaged before. You probably have no idea who I am. And they thought that there's another creator, Charleston Bravoholic. And I think they just assume like any creator that's in Charleston is probably the Charleston Bravoholic, and totally get it. And then I said hi to Craig and I was expecting him, because he was looking at me. And so I was expecting him to like, hate me or something. And he was very nice. And I was like, I've been hard on you. And he's like, oh, that's okay. And then they just continued filming. But then right after I was talking to all of them, one of the producers came up to me and he's like, scan this. And he's like, we need you to fill this out in case we put you on the show. And I was like, okay. Like, I just didn't think for even a second that they would put those interactions on, the camera. So then we're just sitting there and then we're hanging out. And I'm just like watching like all of it go down. It's totally like a bucket list to be watching. So then I'm just sitting at the bar. There's a bunch of girls like trying to talk to them. And there's this one girl that's definitely like following Shep. And it looked like they liked each other. But I'll get to why that's confusing. And then like Austin like sat on the stool right next to me. Okay, at the bar. And I just was like, so how's everything going with Sally? And he was like, well, I guess you're just going to have to watch the show. Bravoholic, Charleston Bravoholic. And I was like, oh, okay. And like, I get that maybe I should have just gone in like trying to be their buddy or something like that. But that's like the first thing that came to mind. Like, how are things going with Sally? And he was not pleased with me asking that, but whatever. And then I talked to Craig for a while and we talked to like Summer House and he asked me not to say everything that we discussed, but like I definitely like in that moment fell for like the charm that everyone, like we see the bad behavior and then you see him in person. He's so nice. He was the nicest one to me out of all of them. And then he was telling me like, it was definitely like, oh, children's book, like bad edits, like things like that. And I can't get into all of it, but I fell for it for a second, and then in the morning, a couple things that he said, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not really sure that he was fully telling me the truth. But I will say he was the nicest one out of all of them, and when you see them, they're just like regular dudes. But then, so Austin, I was chatting with him, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to him, not about the show, but so then I asked him, I was like, how is it being a cat dad? How are you liking your cat? Trying to be more normal because he was still sitting next to me for like a while. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to talk to him. But like my husband was there. My friend's husband was there. Like it was like they weren't going to come up and like, chat with us too much. So then I'm talking to him about my cats. And then Torre comes up and he says to Austin, he's like, how do you feel about these Bravo creators? And I was like, oh my God. Like for a second I was like, you're embarrassing me. But I just like let him do his thing, and I couldn't really read Austin. Like I'm like, I think he's annoyed. But then they were leaving, and they like filmed their exit, and then they came back in and like took a picture with the staff. Oh, also Shep snapped a pool cue. Is that what they're called? He like snapped it over his knee in half, and then they were like signing it, and they were just like hanging with the staff at Silver Dollar. And then Austin like taps me. He's like, what are you guys doing the rest of the night? And I was like, oh, we're just hanging. And then I was like, maybe that was him like seeing if we wanted to come along. So then I went up to him and I was like, where are you guys going next? And he told me, and it was Ritual. It's like a bar on a roof. And I was like, okay, well, if he's telling me where they're going, and then I asked him if he was going to the next place that Patricia told me, and he was like looking at me like, how do you know where we're going? And I was like, well, Patricia told me. And then, so I was like, okay, well, we might see you at the next spot. And then Craig was giving me a hug goodbye, and he was like, yeah, just don't share everything that we were talking about, which wasn't anything more, like much more than what I'm saying. It's just like, I think he just wanted privacy. Wasn't anything crazy. And then Rodrigo said bye, Whitner said bye, and then surprise, I showed up to the next spot because I mean, why would I not go if Austin was saying, what are you guys doing tonight? And then I asked, and he said they were going to Ritual. So then we show up, and I could tell Whitner was like, what are you guys doing here again? And then we go, we're just walking around, and we immediately saw Austin and Shep filming or something like that. And then we walk around the corner, and the whole booth is full of everyone. And it was Sally, Benita, two random girls I've never seen before. Craig was over there again, and you could tell that like there was a thing with Sally, and I could hear Austin say like, "Oh, is that Sally's boyfriend?" And she was sitting there with a guy, and like Craig was talking. So I think that Sally has a boyfriend, and like nobody has talked about this yet. So I feel like I'm like spilling the beans, but like she definitely has a boyfriend. She definitely has a boyfriend. And Craig was like not pleased. Vanita was definitely flirting with Whitner. Like there was like she like hit his arm, but like in a flirty way. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're like flirting. So then I was like, I need to talk to Vanita because she was so nice to me at BravoCon, and she's always been super nice to me. So then she walked that way, like away from everyone, and I was like, okay, like she walked that way, but I'm gonna like look for her, but I'm gonna go to the bathroom because I really have to go pee. And then I get out of the bathroom, I'm washing my hands, and I realized that I was just like in the stall next to Vanita, and I'm like, oh no, like I'm not like trying to follow you like that. And then I'm like washing my hands, and I see her, and she was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, Lindsay the Bravoholic. And she was like, I like start talking to her, and she's like pointing at her back, and she's like, I'm filming, like I'm mic'd. But it's so interesting because the guys weren't acting like that. The guys were just like, whatever. So I feel like she's super protective of her job, and I totally respect that. I never really got to talk to her, which is totally fine. And I never got to talk to Sally, but she was dealing with a lot of drama. Like she was endlessly talking to everybody. And Craig ended up, it's crazy because we were just talking about like good edits, bad edits, not going to get into the details. But then, when I saw him at the first bar, I was like, consider unblocking me. But I was like, if I ever talk bad about you, it's because I'm a girl's girl, but also I'm just like, I have to comment on what I see. Like, there's obviously more to every story, whether it comes to Summer House, Southern Hospitality, Southern Charm. Like, there's more to the story than what we're seeing, but like, I'm going to comment on what I'm seeing. So I basically said that to him. So then at this bar, at the second bar, Ritual, he's talking to Sally, and then he like storms off. And I could see that he was looking at me because we were just talking about, you know, discussing his behavior or anyone's behavior on the show. And like, he was literally looking at me while he was like having a disagreement with Sally. It was so weird. I'm like, he's got to be thinking about how I'm going to be talking about this later, and many other content creators are going to be talking about this. And so he's like looking at me while they're in the filming and upset with Sally. It's very weird. So then he stormed off, and the whole, like, it's so wild watching all of the producers, and it's clear that they all like can hear what they're talking about, but then it's like they can't all possibly be hearing what every person is hearing. And it's crazy watching the cameras like chase after specific people. So then it's late at this point. I have no idea what time it is at this point. It's got to be midnight plus. So everyone's clearly going down the elevator. There was some big drama. They're all leaving. Austin asks the producers like, can I leave? And they're like, yeah, you can go down the elevator. And we're like, we just hung out for a second, like saw Whitner walk back in. And then I was like, okay, we can leave. Like, I don't want to be a freak and go to wherever the next bar is and stalk them. And so we finish our drinks, we go down the elevator, and Torre accidentally hit the wrong button. He didn't hit the bottom, ground level, because there's 3 levels to this place. So Torre hit the wrong button, and I look at it as the doors are opening, and it said the third bar that Patricia told me about. So I was like, holy crap, this is it. And that's why they're going down the elevator so quickly, because it's like, it just seemed so abrupt compared to the last restaurant or the last bar. Then we go down in there, and it's this like bar, like this, it just looks like a cool bar with like zebra print chairs. And so they're all in there and the drama is continuing. And so at one point I'm watching Shep and the camera's like following Shep and he grabs this beautiful girl and he spins her and she's wearing like a white and black dress and he's like talking to her and the cameraman like runs over and then they go over to the bar and they're just talking and I haven't seen him look at somebody like that since Sienna Freckled Lips. So I feel like they're gonna date, but it's so weird because she wasn't the girl that was following him from bar to bar that he was like entertaining at the first bar and second bar. It was interesting. So then I'm watching, there's a bunch of drama with everybody's still there. Everyone's still there. And then Craig is like heated. And it's like we were just talking about this, that it has to be acknowledged, like he has to know that he has an anger problem. Because he was just talking about like, oh, like good edits, bad edits, and then it's like, but this is how you're acting. And you are able to like change that. I have no idea what they're arguing about. All I know is that Sally clearly has a guy and they're not happy with Sally, but Austin was like not really in the mix like at all. And his shirt was so bad. So that was all Thursday. We ended up going home because I was just like, they were like clearly ending filming, like Craig wanted to be done. And like at the first bar, it was clear that the producers were like kind of telling them like to chat about this. But then at the second bar, third bar, it's so real. Like they were like producers are just sitting there. Producers are just watching and trying to contain and like get Craig back. He's like Craig clearly wanted to be done. And they're like getting him back in. Like very real in the last two bars. I feel like this episode is going to be like a two-part. Like you're going to see these bars. So this was all on Thursday. We were not even there for 24 hours. Like it just was immediately into everything. And it was an absolutely insane, absolutely bucket list to see all of this go down. Oh, and I didn't mention like they have like so many producers and so many cameramen and so many, like you look and you think there's somebody at the bar. It's a producer. Like they have headphones and they're listening, they're watching, and they're like, they have like these guards, like these young guy guards, and we ended up bonding with one of them. And it was his first time ever doing this. Like his buddy was typically the guy that does this, and he was like filling in. And I was like, "Have you ever seen this show before?" And he was like, "No, I've never seen this." He's like, I think I need to see what the show is. I'm like, "You need to watch this. You have the fact that you are guarding these people and you have no idea what you're watching is absolutely insane." But if you ever get a chance to see filming, it is wild. I still have to see Housewives film. Like this was wild. I love to see like the younger people because I feel like it's more natural and maybe the Housewives have more of like a setup, but like this was insane. And Patricia is everything. And then the next day I texted her saying, "Thank you so much. Like we went to wherever you said, had the best time." And all she said was, "Good." So that was Thursday. And then on Friday, I'm like, we'll see what happens. You never know what's going to happen. And then randomly, Leva commented on one of my posts about Michael's and like his mom. And then I was like, "We're in town." And she's like, "Just let me know. Anything you need, just let me know." So then we just were already going to go to Zachary's. Zachary's delicious, very cute spot. I bought a couple necklaces there, a necklace for my mom. They have such a cute shop. And I asked the girl back there if Leva picks all of this stuff out herself, and she said that her and Leva pick it out together. One of the cutest, I'm not even kidding, one of the cutest shops in Charleston. I was looking for some cute stuff and just go straight there, honestly. And then at night we went out to dinner, and then we were walking down and Leva has a new bar called On Air, which is where Michael's is working. So he was out there and he just saw my post about him. And so he was so nice and gave me a hug. But I had to introduce myself, but he was looking at me like, he was like, "You look so familiar." And then I was like, I do Bravo content. So then he let me and my my husband and my two friends go upstairs for free. And there was like an open table, very fun bar. They have an upstairs outside, and then a downstairs that is more, like live band music, but like the upstairs is like a club. very cool. And then we were leaving and he's like, tell them at Republic, because we were going to Republic. He's like, just tell them that Michael sent you. And so then we just easily went into Republic, had a great time. And then I saw earlier in the night that Bradley was there. So I messaged him and I was like, where are you? Like, we're here. And he had just left. So I didn't get to see anyone while we were there, but you always have a great time at Republic. And then on Saturday, we just did our like random thing again, had so much fun, went shopping, bought this cute shirt in town, and then went back to Republic area, and Lake was outside, but I didn't say hi or anything. I've never made a post about her other than like the reunion looks, so I didn't say anything. But then I went up to this guy and I was like, Leva said that she can get us in. He needed me to like prove it, so I had to prove it with like a comment. And then he let us in, and we were there for a while just having fun. I mean, we go there because it's fun. And I'm standing up at the bar, and I turned to my left, and it was Emmy. Like, she just walked up right next to me, was one person away from me, and I just didn't say anything because it's like, I don't have anything to say to you, but like, she's apparently not on the work schedule. Like, why would you go to Republic other than like I think she just was like looking for attention, but she was like screaming at the bartender like, hey, and like really definitely calling for attention to herself. But I didn't say hello. But that was it. That was our weekend in Charleston. It was insane. It was so much fun, and I'm just having the best time. And I got an invite to watch party from Peacock and NBC to watch the Love Island premiered like with them. But I don't know if I'm going to go yet because it's a pricey ticket, and it's not like Ariana's going to be there or anything, or Sierra or anything. So I don't think I'm going to go to that. I think I need a break from traveling and just to hang out with my kiddos. And if you live in Michigan, on June 20th, we are going to a brunch thing with Schwartz. I made a post about it on my Instagram and TikTok. So if you want to go to that and you live in Michigan, my husband and I will be there with Schwartzy. So that's what's been going on in our life. And I want to quickly get into Say Less, Spill More. Say Less, Spill More. So Bethany Frankel was not a girl's girl. She was given some shoes from Dina Manzo's daughter, who makes beautiful shoes, very cute shoes. She sent them to Bethany, and Bethany made a post with the shoes and tagged another company. So just keep an eye out for that. Adorable shoes. We love to support other girls. Also, Andy Cohen got his doctorate. He made an adorable speech. I highly recommend listening to this speech if you're a big Bravo fan. Go listen to his speech. He talks about housewives, his career. This was the school that his mom graduated from. So it was a full circle moment for him. Very, very adorable honorary doctorate. And quickly into the Jen Fessler stuff. Like, I feel like I just need to say that I believe that she did hook up with Wes. Like, why else would Sierra say that? I 1,000,000% believe Sierra. I don't think she would waste her time talking about Jen Fessler unless that were the case. And Carl was on Watch What Happens Live, and he basically like confirmed. So I feel like West, if it didn't happen, West lied. It's not Carl and Sierra lying. It's West lying. And I think that Jen Fessler is really enjoying having her like 15 seconds, which is just sick. Also, the upfronts, they announced a bunch of shows coming out. I'm excited for the Fan Fest that's going to be in Charleston, so I'll be back here in October. Fingers crossed, hoping to get invited to it, but if not, I'm just going to be here. And they have a new show that they announced, Secret Lies and Texas Wives, which they said it's like a working title, and I really hope that they change it because I feel like they're just like copying Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and it's like, why don't we just call it Real Housewives of Texas? I feel like that's a better name, so I hope they change that. And Vanderpump Rules, there's going to be like a Vanderpump Vegas style, but I think it's like a one-time show where they're going to show like Lisa opening her hotel and things like that, which I'm excited to see that. I want to see anything Vanderpump, and I'm happy to hear she's like doing more Bravo, because she's so much on Hulu now that I want to see her on Bravo. I want her to be a housewife again, which I've said that a million times. Um, and then Real Housewives of Orange County is back July 9th. I cannot wait to see that. Ultimate Ultimate Girls Trip August 9th. Next Gen June 24th. Real Housewives of Rhode Island season 2. Thank goodness. I mean, I didn't have any doubt for that. And then there's no word on Ladies of London, which I think is an absolute crime. Like, why are we going to show us these amazing women and Mark and just never see them again? So fingers crossed that they bring them back for a season 2, because they don't only announce at the upfronts. So hopefully they bring that back, and hopefully they hear us screaming for Real Housewives of Miami. Like, please. Speaking of Lisa, all of that's going to be dismissed. She basically has to, Lisa Hochstein basically has to take a class, and then all of that stuff with her recording Lenny and Jody and everything is going to be dismissed. So excited for her. Wife Swap is going to be back. Loved that. Valley Persian Style is going to be back. I think that show was gold, so I'm happy to see that coming back. Summer House is coming back again, which is super confusing because they're selling the house. And I highly doubt this year is going to be back. I highly doubt that things are going to be smooth with West and Kyle. But Kyle said on Watch What Happens Live that he was meeting with West the next day. So I hope that we get to see that, or at least hear about that. Southern Charm got renewed again, and I'm confused because they're filming right now. Does that mean that they're renewed for another? Which I feel like that makes perfect sense. I'm hearing from Patricia, who has not lied to me yet, that this is going to be the best season, and I believe her. So maybe they're extended for another season. And then Madison LaCroix is having a new show with Georgia Gay, Heather Gay's daughter, all about hair, the new hair chair, how she's a hairstylist, and they're going to have people sitting in her chair on Peacock. So I'm excited to see that. And we've been seeing a bunch of Summer House collabs. Kyle and Carl are killing it. Yesterday, Kyle and Carl had a soft bar party that I was actually invited to in New York, but I'm here, and I'm kind of happy that I'm here because I had a great time seeing all of the Southern Charm people. And Sierra did DSW, KJ and Mia with PF Chang's and Panera. And Sierra did Sonic with Ariana again. I love their little collab. I'm so happy that they're doing all of that together because that's exactly what we want to see. And Sierra, it was confirmed from TMZ that Sierra was going to be on Summer House again. And Sierra said, don't listen because nobody from my team would talk to TMZ. So we don't know. I kind of think she's going to pull a page. And even though that's going to break my heart, I root for her. On to Bravoholic Breakdown. I'm going to do a quick rundown. Real Housewives of Atlanta is so good right now. The K Michelle is losing it or something. She's mad about something that makes really no sense to me, and I'm hoping that we get to learn more about that. But I feel like Shamia is just in her head, or she was worried about Portia and Phaedra and created an issue before an issue even happened. And I feel like Shamia is the issue, but I'm absolutely loving Real House of Atlanta. I feel like they had a couple rough seasons, and I think they're back. So if you're not watching, watch. And Real Housewives of Rhode Island was insane with everything Rosie and Kelsey. I thought that I was Team Kelsey. I am so Team Rosie, and she tore her up. She ripped her a new one. And not only does her voice project more than Kelsey's voice, she had the every word, she is incredible in an argument. Incredible. Calling her a slam pig was an instant classic. I saw somewhere today that somebody was calling West Wilson a slam pig, and that's hilarious to me. Also, if you didn't see, there's this guy on TikTok that was just posting a post, and everyone was ripping him apart because he looked like West Wilson, and people were calling him East Wilson. Hilarious. The Summer House finale was heartbreaking and makes the whole Scamanda thing so much worse. I feel like like Amanda so clearly just wanted West because Sierra and West were making up and because West stuck up for Amanda for like a brief second. And now, like, I can't wait for the reunion. I'm going to try and do a live of some kind, whether it's before or after or during. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to pull it off, but I'm going to try to do that. But the finale was insane and heartbreaking. And then the way that they went into in the city so beautifully, like past Bravo shows, it was done wonderfully. And people are not watching because of Amanda. They're at least saying that. And I feel like that's such a mistake because I think In the City is going to be the next show, like the next Summer House. They can do so much with it. They can bring people in, they can take people out. And I feel like they found a good group of people, like, and they're real friends. Like they're like Yvonne's husband like does not seem like somebody that you would bring into television. Like he clearly is like Yvonne's husband. And I feel like there's going to be so much natural mess among people because even Kenny, the guy from Michigan, gave money to Loverboy and he's like talking to him about like what this is when it was like failing. So it's crazy to know what we know now and like what was happening then. And also that breakdown with Amanda and Kyle about West. I thought that West and Sierra were going to be a part of that too, but I can't. This is like it's going to be a weird season because of what we know now, but this show is going to be gold and I really hope that they bring Sierra and Carl. I feel like Sierra could be done, but at least bring Carl back onto the show because I want to see Soft Bar. I don't want Carl to be done on Bravo, but maybe he'll be on Summer House. Southern Hospitality, I made a post about Michaels and his mom, and it was so hard to watch. I feel like she just like wanted to impress us and impress her friends, and she didn't really care about how her son felt. And like he was trying to make her feel better when he was just telling her that he felt unloved and unwanted by her, and it was really hard to watch. And she called him a crybaby and told him if he doesn't stop crying, she's going to leave. And then she started crying and he was comforting her. And it was horrible. And then Joe Bradley is working on starting a new business. Grace Lilly was trying to make up with Joe Bradley. She looks really healthy in the reunion dress. Like she looks great and all of their outfits look good. They like this is their first reunion out of the clubhouse and I feel like they nailed it. They look like a real show now. And then Michaels gets an email that he isn't manager anymore. And I feel like now that I've seen him in the wild on air, I feel like it has something to do with that. So maybe he's now the manager over there and she just didn't communicate that properly or who knows. And then the Valley, it was horrible in the beginning of the season. And now it's better because we're seeing less of like childcare and more of them like discussing how things aren't fair and things like that. And like Danny, my gosh, he had it in the bag. Like the fans were on his side and like he is blowing it this season by drinking and looking like a complete a-hole and poor Nia, like you can tell that she was sticking up for herself to Danny for like so we don't think that she just doesn't like stick up for herself, but she got like clearly in trouble for talking about their marital stuff on camera. But it's like, why are you even on the show then if you're not going to talk about your life? And Zach made it very clear that Brittany does not like Nia, and I called that last season because Brittany was sticking up for everybody to Jax except for Nia, and it was very, very clear. And Lala is right for sticking up for Nia, and I'm glad she's doing it. Do I trust Lala? No. Do I think that she thinks that she's going to get some camera time from this? Yes. So, I don't know. All right, I know that was quick, but we're leaving today. We're leaving from Charleston today to the airport. So let's do a quick Ask Torre the Bravoholic.
Ask Torre the Bravoholic.
Oh, I'm so happy for you and your segment. All right, we took a week off, and we're back to your segment. Currently in Charleston, leaving today.
Yes, we are.
What did you think about your live experience?
That was something. It was something. Good thing we had a little inside scoop. But yeah, watching the 10 camera guys doing somersaults around the bar. I mean, the panic in producers when someone's like going down an elevator.
Jumping on booths to get a good angle of like the pool table and stuff.
Am I allowed to say what Shep did at the bar with the pool stick?
I said it, but yeah, you can talk about it.
Yeah, Shep. They're very intense game of pool. I think it was him, Craig, and Whitner and Rodrigo or somebody.
Yeah.
I think he must have missed a shot and snapped a pool stick over his leg, but then the bartenders were cool with it. So I think he signed it and they're probably going to put it on the wall. But yeah, it's funny to watch. You're like, you know, they all are friends at a bar. They're all hammered. Like they were hammered.
Yeah.
I mean, they were drinking heavily as I was as well. But it's just interesting to see, you know, looks real. And I mean, it was all real. Like we were watching them just party, and
it was crazy. Like at the first bar, they were definitely like whispering to Rodrigo, like, you guys need to talk about this. But it's like on some level, I get where they need to push stuff in the right direction.
I saw Whitner,
but it's real.
Whitner and Rodrigo were talking. I think really like I think it was Whitner and Rodrigo, and the producer like stepped in and like stopped their conversation.
Yeah.
And I think must have like said, hey, remember, I don't know what he
I don't know what he was saying.
But they stopped, and then but it wasn't like, you know, action. You know, it wasn't like that. It was just like he stopped them talking. Maybe there was a microphone issue or something. I don't know.
It could have, we really have no idea, because it was just like a quick like, and then they were back. But I was right in the background of that, and you were too.
I think me and my friend John were one. I mean, there was only a handful of dudes in that place. I mean, maybe 10 of us. Charleston in general is like 5 girls to 1 guy, the whole thing. So
I love it.
But like when we walked in, you saw them look at me and John and be like, there's like, I didn't know if they're like, oh God, there's more guys in here.
Oh yeah. Cause I forgot to say that Austin, when he was talking to me, he was like, gosh, those girls over there are like 11s. They're like they're definitely like, well, at least Austin was definitely looking for chickies
on the prowl.
Yeah.
Did you tell them how you got mad at me for interrupting your conversation?
I said I said that you embarrassed me for a second.
Look,
because I was talking to him about his cat.
I almost went in for me and Austin were kind of teaming up on Lindsay a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Because I got the vibe that Lindsay was digging for dirt, and I go,
I was at first.
All I was doing was stepping in and saying, Austin, you know, so basically,
you were like, how do you feel about these Bravo creators?
And I was like, you're asking, like, you're interviewing the guy. He goes, yeah. You're asking me about XYZ, and did like a fake like reporter thing.
Whatever.
And that was funny. And then we talked about
my job.
I talked to Austin about if he visited Michigan. And then Shep came over and was talking about Rochester, Michigan, and going to Detroit. And I had a different experience with Shep. Shep was cool with me, but
he's weird with me.
I think he is weird with I think women, like, I think they're all like, these guys cannot go anywhere in this town because
they can't.
I don't even want to know what their body counts are. I don't even want to know.
It's a disgusting amount.
Because they could literally have any girl, you could just see the girls who were trying to,
jaws dropped,
who were just like following them and then trying to get their attention again. And then, you know, they had the pickings of whoever they wanted.
Yeah. But then Austin was telling Shep, he's like, I like that girl over there. I ended up telling her when they left, I was like, he had a thing for you, but she had a boyfriend, so that's why I didn't say it at first. But he was like, Shep, can you go get that? Can you go hit on that girl for me? Like, go bring her over here for me. I'm like, Austin, why the F can't you go over there by yourself? Go do it by yourself. But you don't have game yourself? I don't get it.
And then I think Lindsay was charmed by Craig and fell under his spell.
Okay, no, I was listening to what he had to say, and I wish that I could say every detail, but I can't because he asked me not to. And there was one thing that he said that I was like, oh, that's really sweet. And then in the morning I was like, that was a lie. Okay?
Yeah, I mean.
For sure.
I mean, and he was drunk too. I mean, I don't know. He was drunk. They're all drunk.
But like, when you're in his face, you're like, you're a human. And we were talking about even like summer house editing and things like that, and like how things go crazy, and like you only see so much. And like I was starting to think about that from Amanda, and I was talking to him about that, and so I was like, I'm starting to think that about you. Like, there's only so much, and then that's the most that I can say.
One of my favorite parts of the night was the security guard. There was like they just hire like, 1099 security guards that just come and stand there and try to keep people away. Boy. We became friends with him. So if we were around them, he didn't care because he was like, I know you guys aren't like bugging them. I walked into the bar and these 3 frat guys came up to me. They had to have been like literally 21, 22 years old. And they're like, what is going on? Like, who are these people? I said, this is like a TV. This is TV show. So these are famous people. And then later in the night, those 3 guys were trying to get really close and onto the camera. And our security guard, I don't even think I told you that.
No, you didn't.
We were at the rooftop bar. And
he's such a nice boy.
He was a nice guy, but those 3 frat guys, like an hour and a half after talking to him initially, was trying to get into the where they were sitting on the couches recording.
Really?
And he had to he was like kind of physically pushing them back because
God.
I mean, they were hammered.
But he was excited because he was like, I think my face is going to be on this.
Yeah.
He was a young boy.
Yeah, he was cool.
And then what did you think about On Air and Republic?
Michael's I mean, seemed like the nicest, like
so nice.
And you get up to him. I'm freaking way older than him, but you're like a nice young man.
He's very nice.
But he was like, I expected him to I'm on a TV show. But because he's literally working his 9 to 5. I mean, it's his job, his real job. He's literally like standing at the door,
so nice.
in a suit.
I want to give him a hug again.
He was sweet. Very nice, and he was like, "No, let's get you guys up right now."
He was very sweet boy.
On Air is cool. Great rooftop, live music, good spot. Charleston's weird. You can have 21-year-olds and you have 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and it's a big mix. But
it is.
I still think we have some good years in us. We stayed up past 1 a.m. like 2 of the 3 nights.
I could have kept going that night when they were filming. I could have not stopped, but we left when they were like were they taking Craig's mic off?
Yeah. Well, Craig took his mic off because he was ticked off.
And he was waving at me in the middle. He was waving at me while he was in the middle of his breakdown. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm gonna be talking shit about you.
Austin told you we were going. I mean, everyone told
he told us. So did Patricia.
Because we got to the point where there was people like girls all over them, and then Austin was literally just sitting at the bar with us. We were just talking. I
just wanted to see. And I am a content creator for Bravo, and I want to know the tea, but I'm not gonna
I think there's a lot of
overstep.
I told him, I will tell you one thing. People that message Lindsay never ever says anything. Except you're telling everyone Patricia gave you the inside scoop. I don't know if she'll like that.
Whatever. I don't think she's going to be mad about that.
I mean, she's not listening to this podcast.
No, but also Craig, I don't really care for Craig, and he asked me not to say something. I'm not going to say it. I'm not. What did you think about Emmy walking right up next to me?
Well, I was the one that spotted her. All I got was a side.
I spotted her because she was right next to me.
Side profile, and doesn't she wear the polka dots at all times?
Oh my God! Speaking of, she was wearing those damn gold Tory Burch hoops that she wears every single day, and I'm just like, I want to buy you a new pair of gold hoops.
Yeah,
not the same ones every single time.
Republic is fun.
So fun.
One half of it is literally a club. Outside is great music too, but it's you have the best of both worlds in that place. It's not huge, but it's really not that small. I mean, it's not, normal.
Yeah, it's fun.
But no, it was a good time. I gotta say that, we got the Southern Charmed, and we got some great hospitality from our folks. So
we got some Southern Charm and Southern hospitality.
We are getting picked up in 5 minutes.
Okay,
so
can I ask you 2 more questions?
Yeah, hurry.
What did you think about the fight between Rosie and Kelsey?
Rosie and Kelsey, that was great.
Whose side are you on?
Probably the girl that was when I was watching it. The girl that lived at the house is
That's Rosie.
She seemed too much, but then I thought about it. I was like, that girl came up in some theatrical way and was being way too over the top. So that was golden TV. That will be a memory this show is going to go for a long time. And that's
Slam Pig.
Yeah, Slam Pig is a great term.
And then Summer House finale. Quick thoughts.
Summer House finale. Oh,
Sierra, Amanda, what?
Speechless. Just can't just get me to the reunion. Just get me to the reunion. I'm gonna need some drugs to.
Is Amanda a Slam Pig?
I don't know. There's a lot of conflicting reports on the term. So.
And then, what did you think about In the City?
In the City is going to be very good. The reason why it's going to be very good because people can leave that show and you can replace them in, and not like, I mean, you need.
It's going to be like Summer House.
You can get that show is going to be good. Because,
there's Kyle, there's Lindsay, there's Pillars, and then they can all go in and out. That's how I feel.
We do got to go.
That's it. Thank you guys. A quick episode, but I just didn't want to miss another week.
Come to Charleston and go to all.
Charles. I've been calling it.
Leva treated us so well that you just got to go.
And Michael's and everybody. Yeah. And like, I have to say quickly, out of every Bravo place that I've gone to, like these are like Zachary's Daiquiris is one of my favorites. Like food wise, I didn't eat anything at Republic or On Air. And then Something About Her. Those are my favorite Bravo food
connected.
Okay, that's it.
See ya.
Thanks for listening, guys. See you next week. Okay, I think I've said enough. If you liked what you heard, please rate, review, subscribe, follow, all the things. And that's what Lindsay says.